Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. As you all hop onto the call, if you all don't mind introducing yourselves in the chat, your name, your pronouns, your location, maybe something that you're geeking out about, or maybe something that you love about yourself right now. So as you all come on in, feel free to start introducing yourselves. We are recording this, so if you all have any questions as they come up after this info session, you'll either be able to refer back to this recording, or we'll definitely share our contact information to give us any questions you might have. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and get us started. Hi, everyone. My name is Akiana. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm the public programs manager here at She Geeks Out. And really what my role is for Breaking Barriers and for today's session is I'm going to be making sure that you all get your questions answered about what Breaking Barriers is, why we're offering it here at She Geeks Out. I'll also be sharing some other resources in the chat about some other events we have coming up that you all might be interested, but really just making sure that you all are supported alongside Rachel Sadler and Rachel Murray today. So before we get started, I did want to acknowledge the land that I'm joining you all from today. So SGO's mission is to abolish inequity in the workplace. We achieve this through a holistic approach to fostering diversity, equity, and inclusion at work and beyond. SGO was originally founded on land that is the traditional territory of the Massachusetts and the Pawtucket tribes. And I personally am also joining from land that was inhabited by the Agawam tribes as well. So if you all are familiar with the tribes of which your land was inhabited by, I encourage you all to join that in the chat. I will share a link if you aren't aware of that. And now that I introduced myself, I'll go ahead and kick it over to my two co-hosts for today to introduce themselves. So Rachel Sadler, I'll get started with you.
Hi, folks. My name is Rachel Sadler. I also use she, her pronouns. I'm a DEI facilitator here at She Geeks Out and your Breaking Barriers coach. We'll get into a lot more things in a minute, but I want to turn it over to one of our co-CEOs first to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm the other Rachel Murray, also use she, her pronouns. And yeah, I'm co-CEO. I kind of call myself Chief Everything Else Officer. I do a lot of different things, wear a lot of different hats, and supported by this amazing team. And that's a little bit about me, and we'll share more later. Thanks so much.
Awesome.
So what are we talking about today? We've got introductions out of the way. In a minute, I'm going to tell you all about myself so that you will probably be inundated with information and know too much by the end of our time together. Go over the program, and then if you have any questions, you can certainly ask them at the end of the session. So for starters, who am I? Again, my name is Rachel. I'm joining you from the East Coast in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is the ancestral lands of the Chesapeake people. So I acknowledge that my presence here is due to past and present violence against those community. And I just want to take a moment of silence to honor those folks as well as the folks from the lands that you are on. Thank you for taking a minute to do that. So a little bit about me. I am a facilitator here at She Geeks Out, but more importantly, I am your Breaking Barriers coach. I am a certified diversity coach by Coach Diversity Institute, and I did spend some time in middle school land. So if you know middle schoolers, if you have nieces, nephews, neighbors, kids that are at the bus stop in the morning when you're driving to work, can you just put a +1 in the chat? Because that lets me know that you know what time it is when you're dealing with small people in this very interesting phase in their life. And when I was in that space, I noticed that there was an absence of programming for girls and how to really just embrace the changes that were happening to them, who they are, who they want to be. They were all inundated with these messages of who they were supposed to be. And I felt some type of way about that. So that led me down this path to developing programming for folks to really just lean into what womanhood means for them as individuals. And so thanks to the leadership of Rachel Murray, we were able to develop this program for all of you. So let's get into what it is we'll be talking about in Breaking Barriers. So the sessions are an hour and a half each. We have 5 sessions. They'll be in the evening time from 5 to 6:30 p.m. So you don't have to worry about taking off work or going on your lunch break. We want folks to be able to be settled in at the end of the day on Tuesdays and really get into some self-serving work. So the first session is really getting to know the community of people that we're building with for the next 5 weeks. We will co-create expectations and norms on how we want to interact with each other. And then we'll get into starting to honor parts of ourselves, right? So there's a really good activity at the end of that session where you're honoring who you are and the parts of yourself that you love and the parts that people maybe tell you that you're not supposed to, the parts we're supposed to change. We're going to double down on loving all of ourselves. The next session, we're getting into apologist language. Statistically, women apologize more for things than men and find that they have or feel more reason to apologize. So we're going to get into why this happens, the socialization aspect of that, and then how do we flip that language? How do we really lean into the things that we feel sorry for and use other words as fillers so that we don't have to constantly apologize for things like taking up space, silly mistakes we make, things of that nature. And then the third session is my personal favorite. We're looking at disempowering beliefs. So I'm interested to know for the people that are with us, if you've ever had a thought that kind of stops you from doing something you want to do, can you put +1, yes, amen, something in the chat? Either you've decided to go out for something and you decided to stop because you are to this or to that, right? So these are disempowering beliefs, beliefs that stop us from doing the things that we want to do that will serve us. So we're going to get into those things that get into your business and stop you from living the life that you want to live with authenticity. After that, we're going to get into telling folks no. Women have a hard time saying no. No is a complete sentence. And when we do say no, we add qualifiers to it. So we're going to learn how to say no to more things that we can say yes to the things that bring us joy. This is about establishing boundaries with the folks in our lives, even with ourselves in some way. So if you want to say no to taking the kiddos to all of the events, if you want to say no to cooking dinner every night, if you want to say no to staying late at work so that you can do things that bring more fulfillment to your life, that's what this session will be about. And finally, we need to wrap that all up, right? So we've talked about a lot of things over the past 4 weeks. So we'll get into some reflecting at the end, talking about things that may have come up with us during the process, and then some individual development plans for how you are keeping these promises to yourself. So you've invested the time, you've invested the money, there's an emotional investment that happens. How are you going to keep this up for the long haul for yourself in these long-lasting, meaningful ways? A question that we have gotten up to this point is like, well, who is this for? Well, the program specifically is for women identified folks. And it's for people that are really tired of like all the self-help energy, I need to be more, I need to do more, I need to eat all the vegetables, I need to do all the workouts, I need to stay late, I need to go to all the kid meetings at school, I need to walk my dog twice a day. There's so many expectations that women have. And I'm tired. If you're tired, please put a +1 in the chat. I am tired of all the things I'm expected to do. And those of you that have other people in your life, partners, children, I honor that so much because I just have dogs and cats and I'd be tired of them too. So this is for people that really just be like, you know what? I want to be me. How do I be my authentic self? And what are the tools I can use to do that and to show other people who that person is and stand firm in the resoluteness of who I am? This is for folks who already know you're amazing. You already know that you are a fantastic, great woman, right? You just want to remind yourself over and over again. Because again, those disempowering beliefs will come in and they will try to make you believe that you are not as fantastic and spectacular and magical as you already are. And then again, we know the word no, but how do we use it? I want to use it more often. I want to tell more people no, so that I can tell myself yes. And then you just want to prioritize yourself. A lot of you have invested time, money, energy into so many people in your life. And I want to encourage you to invest in yourself. And what does that look like? Spending time to intentionally get to know who you are and who it is that you want to be. And then again, so that everybody else knows what time it is when you step into the room. So that is the program in a nutshell. If you have any lingering questions, you can put it in the chat or get to it at the Q&A. And Akiana is going to go forth to tell you about what it is you'll get with the program.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, so as you all heard, Rachel gave us a really cursory overview about the content that she's going to be going through with us all through Breaking Barriers. And I just wanted to pop in and just provide some other opportunities and value adds that you'll get from being a part of this program. So we will be having 5 90-minute weekly sessions on Tuesdays. So starting on Tuesday, March 7th, all the way through Tuesday, April 4th. The time frame will be from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. EST, 2 p.m. to 3:30 PST, and meetings will be held on Zoom. If any of you all have participated in an SGO program with us before, you might have noticed that we record a lot of our sessions. If you participate in leading DI conversations, webinars, things of that nature. I did want to make a note that our hope for this program is that you all as a cohort will really be able to dig in deep to some good conversations with Rachel Sadler and with each other. And so because of that, we won't be recording these sessions. Again, that's just to make sure that you all can be as open, honest, transparent, communicative as possible, because we acknowledge that the space that you all create on this platform, although it's virtual, is really special, and it's really telling that you all want to join us in those conversations. So did want to make a note that those sessions will not be recorded. But alongside the sessions that you'll have weekly, Rachel spent some really good time developing a workbook that will travel along with you through each of the sessions. So you'll be having some activities that you'll be doing during the sessions. You'll be having some homework to be doing outside of the sessions, but really the hope with the interactive workbook, it's a digital workbook where you all will be able to fill it in. If you have the ability to do so, you can print it out, but really just making sure that there are journal prompts for you and just continuation of what you all will be discussing within the program. So that will be through the editable digital workbook. We also are going to be providing a community space for you all within our Mighty Networks platform. And this will be a space where you all can keep the conversations going past the weekly sessions. If you all have questions for Rachel, you can pop them in Mighty Networks. If you all have articles or videos or podcasts, we really want to encourage you all sharing with each other. So that space, again, will be a private virtual space for you all to communicate both during and after the program. After the program, we really want to make sure that we hear from you all what you loved about the program, what you didn't love about the program. So there'll be an opportunity for you all to provide anonymous feedback at the end of the program to share with us how we can improve. And because this is a really awesome inaugural Breaking Barriers program, we would love to offer you discounts on future Breaking Barriers programs, which will be shared with you all once your successful completion of the program. So that's a really cursory overview about what you're going to get from the program. And I know one of the biggest questions that have come through Eventbrite, and just a question that you all might be having, is what's the investment for a program like this? So I'd love to talk about that with you. So we're offering 2 different registration tiers. Early registration is currently open. It will close on February 1st. And to participate in the program, it'll cost $395. Again, that's inclusive of all 5-week sessions, the workbook, the Mighty Network space, the community that you'll be building. And then regular registration will open on February 2nd and closes on March 2nd, and the price will increase to $495. Now, SGO's biggest our mission is to abolish inequity in the workplace, and we understand that sometimes finances might not put us in a position where we're able to afford different programs. So because of that, I just included a link to our financial assistance form for this program. If finance is a barrier for you all to participate in this program, we encourage you to fill out this form to the best of your ability. Let us know maybe what's a price point that you would be able to pay for the program, and a member from the SGO team will be in contact with you about how to get involved. Any quick questions about what you get from the program or the investment? No? Awesome. So that leads us into, oh, Kristen, I see you raised your hand. Feel free to put yourself off mute or throw your question in the chat if you have it.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, thanks. I was trying to find the hand raise emoji thing. I was just curious on the financial piece. Is there a way to like, what do you call it? Like, I don't know, give extra funds to kind of like sponsor someone else who might not be able to do the program?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. If that is something that you are interested and able to do, I'll put my email in the chat and I'll connect with you offline about how we can get that going. Perfect. I just put my email. Thank you for that question, Kristen. All right, so I will kick us into our Q&A section of the agenda. Oh, Sophia, I just see you had a question. I was wondering if you had any suggestions on how to word this opportunity in a mixed group channel, i.e. not just she plus folks. That's a good question.
So to be more, I'm sorry, I hope I'm not derailing.
No, please, but just, yeah, please.
To be more specific, we use Slack at where I work, and we have several channels where it's like the entire company and it's like a mixed group of people. And I definitely feel there are younger and not younger folks who would really, really benefit from this. But I also do know we have some personalities who may find issue with the specific wording. And so I'm trying to think of if you have a suggested way to message it so then it doesn't come across as, oh, how come it's just, and it's like, but that's not the point. And I don't want to, and I want to avoid specifically sending out an email to just she plus people or people I think are she plus in my company, because I feel like that's not my business either to assume whether or not they identify that way.
Yeah.
So
I might be able to jump in if that's helpful, and Rachel Nakiana, feel free to add in. I thank you for that question. Because we we started out actually as a women in tech group, for those of you who don't know us, or from way back in the day, a long time ago. And we run across this, and honestly what we found is that it's really okay to sort of open it up and to share what's there. And then what will happen is if we do get some sort of a request or question from someone who isn't woman identified, we're able to have a conversation with them. But we haven't really run across this in the almost 10 years that we've been doing this, where we've really created programming specific for the Women Plus community. I wouldn't feel like you need to alter the language personally, because I haven't found that to be an issue, but would love to hear, Rachel or Akian, if you have any additional thoughts.
I think you said that beautifully. It is what it is. This program is designed specifically for women identified folks to create a brave space, right? And so if somebody takes issue with that, that's something they're going to have to sit with.
thank you so much. This was really helpful. Just a little context. I recently went to a Women in Tech conference, and someone asked some very uncomfortable questions at that, and I just wanted to avoid that.
Yeah. You can never avoid the uncomfortable questions, unfortunately. And I will say one thing that that we sort of live by is the idea of embrace your awkward. It's a phrase that we use here at SGO, and I think that sometimes it can apply to this as well. It's sometimes it's uncomfortable. Sometimes the conversations can be, a little uncomfortable, but we're here for it, and we're able to have that conversation. So yeah, if someone does come across, you can also always send them our way. Happy to have the conversation too. We won't shy away from it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. We feel you.
And Rima, I also want to circle back to your question, and Rachel Sadler, thank you for answering. I'll provide a little bit more context just in case you all aren't familiar with our Mighty Networks platform. So as Rachel Sadler mentioned, we will have a private space on Mighty Networks. So basically what that means is folks outside of the Breaking Barriers program wouldn't have access to this space. So you all would have your own space, and it kind of operates like a social networking platform. So there's a general posting area where you all as members of the space can share articles, podcasts, either as a post or as an article. And if you participate in the program during the first session, we'll walk you through how you can engage with us on Mighty Networks. And thank you, Rachel Murray, for inputting the link, because I do encourage you all, if you are interested in, honestly, even if you don't think you'll be participating in Breaking Barriers, I encourage you to join us on Mighty Networks anyways, because a lot of the conversations that we have on that platform are similar to the conversations that you'll be having in this program. But another cool feature of this space being private is there's a chat feature. So it's almost like a direct message with all of the participants in the group. But the uniqueness about it being on the Mighty Networks platform is you'll get it when you log onto the platform. So, you know, if one evening the conversation is really, you know, lively and you're able to engage, you'll be able to have that and connect with us in that way. There is also a mobile app that you all can download to your phone so you can keep it going. But I just wanted to highlight those two pieces about Mighty Networks as well, because I'm sure that most folks, or not everyone in this space, is familiar. Okay, so we had some questions submitted to us through Eventbrite, so I'll go ahead and start dipping into those. And really what this piece of the session rather is going to be is, I just want to hear from Rachel Sadler and Rachel Murray a little bit more about the development of this program, who this program is for, why folks should be really excited to join us. So if you all have questions as we go through some of these, feel free to raise your hand, put the questions in the chat, or direct message myself directly. But without further ado, Rachel Sadler, you gave us a really nice intro at the beginning of this session about why you built this program, but can you just talk a little bit more about what makes you most excited about building this program, and just why are you offering this for us?
Yeah, I'm so happy that somebody asked that question, because the program means a lot to me. I feel like it's an opportunity for me to support and serve the wonderful women in our communities, right? And to allow space for them to prioritize and center themselves. It's not messaging that I feel like women identified folks get a lot, that we have to center and prioritize other people. And I wanted to bring it on back, you know, to us. And so, like I told you before, I'm really tired of the self-help, be more, do more vibe. I really want women to embrace who they are and live an authentic life. And as I was reflecting on this question, I thought about, you know, during the pandemic, I've lost people during the pandemic that were close to me. And it really made me rethink, like, number one, how short life is. And number two, am I living a life that's true to me? Or am I living a life that's true to somebody else or somebody else's expectations, whether it be family, friends, society, what have you? And I think I've done a good job up to this point to kind of like, you know, cutting my own path, but there's still a lot of ways that I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And by virtue of you making a decision, you give other people permission to do the same thing. And I hearken that back to when I was in the classroom. I did not mention this earlier. I was an amateur martial arts fighter for like 12 years. And so I would come in a little bruised up sometimes, and I tell the kids about it. And I had so many girls come up to me and say, I've always wanted to do that, but I always thought boys did it. So we can do that, we can join. And they would go join gyms, and it changed the way that they saw their ability and what they could do. Even the fact that, like, you know, as a teacher, you're automatically an old ladies and teacher. So no matter how young I was, well, this old lady's doing it, I can do it. Yes, you can do it. And so just by virtue of you all participating in the program and you going out and essentially doing you and being you, you give other women permission to do the same. And that ripple effect gives me the warm and fuzzies. Rachel Murray, what about you?
I love hearing from you, Rachel Sadler. Yeah, just I echo everything that you said. Absolutely. I think one of the things that was so exciting when you brought this idea to us is, you know, for those of you who have known us for a long time, we've evolved quite a bit, even though our mission has always been the same. And our offerings have evolved. And obviously the pandemic has really shifted the way we viewed a lot of the way we work and the way we live. And I think what's so cool about this program, and, you know, we talk a lot about the workplace, and I think for some folks, they might think, well, why are we doing this program that doesn't specifically address like how to do things in the workplace? Well, because the reality is we can't really separate ourselves from our work. We're not all in this show Severance, so none of us are. So we really, I think what's become very clear is in order to be able to live our lives how we want to be and authentically in the workplace, it needs to show up in this way fundamentally in who we are. And I've always believed from the beginning, the reason why we've always focused on the workplace is because we spend so much of our waking hours at work. And so much of our identity is wrapped up in work. And so what's so cool about this program, and something I've never seen anywhere else, is doing exactly what Rachel said, is to really set us up so that we are who we want to really be. Because like you said, life is short. We're in a time of, seeing a lot of layoffs, a lot of change just continues to happen. I call this 2020 plus. I don't even know what years are anymore. So it just really resonates with me. And I'm just so excited that we can offer this as an option for folks who are part of the SGO community or who haven't and are going to become a part of the SGO community.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel S. and Rachel M. You two are kind of leading into this next question, but can you all, just based on your own experience, how do you all foresee this program really supporting participants in their daily lives, right? You talked a little bit about how it'll affect us at work. You talked a little bit about how it affects us in our personal lives, but I'm just wondering if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit from your own personal experience about how you expect that this program will help folks.
Sure. So I see it translating into a bunch of different parts of our lives. At work, I think sometimes we get caught up. First of all, we all need jobs, and I get that. But sometimes we allow the people we work for to take advantage of us because of that. And we really need to start pushing back a little bit and saying no to things, asking for help on things, setting some healthy boundaries so that, you are not just the part of you that works. You are all of the other things, and how can you create space for that? And then in your personal life, there's always somebody coming for your time, right? So it's either a partner, a friend, a child. As again, I have 4, 2 cats, 2 dogs. Somebody wants something, and putting restrictions and saying, this is for me. I'm doing this for me because I deserve this. I am a mom, an athlete, a CEO, an executive, but also I am these other things. And so just leaning into the ability to establish those boundaries, to, lean into the things that maybe you've given up. There's like some of this inner child work that happens that, hey, I wanted to paint and I haven't done that in 20 years, or I want to go do the martial arts and punch and kick things. That sounds like a good idea. When can I try that? Or whatever it is that would bring more joy to your life. So it translates, I think, in multiple ways. And I think it would serve holistically of the whole person as opposed to just one facet of who we are.
Yeah. And if I could add to it, I was, as you asked the question, I was thinking about the example. I don't know how many folks know Nicole Hannah-Jones, the founder, the creator of the 1619 Project. I think it was like about a year-ish ago, maybe. Again, what is time? She was fighting for tenure at UNC Chapel Hill. And it was a huge battle. And she eventually, they gave it to her, then they took it away. And she was like, what's up with that? And then she finally, then they were like, oh my gosh, this is a big, kerfuffle mess. And they were like, okay, we'll give it back. And then she was like, too late, I'm going to Howard. And what I love about that example is she set up the boundaries. She set up the rules for herself. She knew what she was able to take in. And what happened was when she said no, another door opened. And I think so much about the saying no is about having those other opportunities. And it's so scary because we definitely, like Rachel said, we all got to get a job. We all got to pay the bills. We live in this world. We do. And there is opportunity out there. So it's just a really cool thing to see that there are other opportunities that can actually open up once you say no to something else. Scary, but the dividends could be really, really high.
Yeah. Thank you both for sharing. And actually, as both of you were reflecting, I was just thinking about, when we were developing this program for you all, Rachel Sadler went through some of the modules and the activities with us. And I'm not going to give too much away because I think the activity that I'm referring to was really impactful for me personally. And I don't want to speak for our team, but for some of the members on our team who participated, they also really took something away. But Rachel, basically what happened was Rachel led us through an activity, and it really caused me to think about the language that I use when communicating to other people. particularly around like maybe how we apologize to folks or just take up space in that way. So I just think about how that one module was so impactful for me. And I noticed it not only in my workplace, but also when I'm communicating to my partner. And so I think it's just what's so cool about this program is on the surface, right? A lot of the topics that Rachel Sadler is going to be going through with you all, on the surface, they seem really tangible and they seem like they are easy to pick up and you can just do it. But if that were the case, then all of these companies wouldn't be making billions of dollars off of New Year, New Me like lifestyles and mantras. And so I think that's what really sets this program apart from the rest. And this also kind of leads into my next question, but for you, Rachel Sadler, like what's your coaching style and approach? Because I could sit here and describe it, but I would love for you to chat with us on the call about what's your coaching style, what's your approach, and why should we trust you? I mean, I trust you, but why should we trust you?
Well, first of all, thanks for saying that. And I'm glad the activity is still resonating, right? So that gives credence to like the long-term, benefits of going through something like this. I like to think I have a very easygoing and approachable coaching style. I work really hard so that people can be put at ease and again, develop a brave space for you to open up and examine parts of yourself that maybe you've ignored or disregarded. I'm comfortable asking tough questions and navigating some resistance that may come up, but all of it really comes from like a place of love for you all and for our communities and for the world at large, right? So you all will be like my little tiny pebbles in the ocean that go out and do great things. And so that is the space that I'm coming from. I'm here to push just a little bit, but know that it genuinely comes from a place of love.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Could you maybe talk about what an activity in this program could look like or would look like? You don't have to give away all the goods, but can you just talk about maybe what an activity would look like for us?
Yeah, for sure. I'll talk about my favorite activity. So has anybody here done a vision board? Put yes or +1 in the chat if you've done one. I usually do one every year. One, because I'm super creative and I like to cut things out. And I go all in on my vision boards. I go to Michael's and get a frame and it stays up. So I look at it every single day. And so I thought, instead of like what or who we want to be, like, what do I already love about myself? So looking at words and phrases and ideas and pictures that just resonate with me for me, and taking time every day to look and remind yourself of what you love about yourself. And so that's kind of one of the activities we'll get into, which is honoring who you are, not who you want to be, what you want to look like, what you want to do, how much money you want to have in the bank, what countries you want to go to. That's a conversation for another day. What are the things that really appeal to who you are right now in this moment that you want to double down on loving and appreciating about yourself?
Awesome. Thank you. So we had a question submitted through Eventbrite that I thought was just a really poignant question that I think can be really relatable to a lot of other folks on this call, but I also think it's going to be a cool opportunity for folks to start, if you haven't already, start being able to tell what Rachel Sadler's coaching style is like. So Rachel, the question submitted was, what are some ways to set boundaries while maintaining good working relationships? The big boundary question.
What are some ways to set boundaries while maintaining healthy work relationships? So I'm not going to give away the content from the session, but I will tell you that you are entitled to whatever serves you. You are entitled to space, you are entitled to time, you are entitled to less work, you are entitled to support. And so get clear on what it is that you need or want and start to develop ways to advocate for that. And they can be done in healthy ways. You don't have to go around being snarky to folk. You can definitely say, these are my expectations. These are what I'm willing to bring to the table. And these are a no-go for me. And let's collaborate on how we can work together so that you're clear on what we're doing moving forward. And I'm clear. And I'm also doing the work that serves me, but not becoming overwhelmed with the jobs at hand.
I love that. Thank you. So we have hit our last submitted question, so I'll go ahead and ask that. But for the folks on the call, if you all have some questions that came up from our chat or have any comments that you'd like to share, I encourage you to share them in the chat or raise your hand. But I'm going to pitch this to actually both you, Rachel S. and Rachel Murray. What is one takeaway that you would want participants to have from this program when all is said and done?
Do you want me to go first? Okay. I'm going to be really honest. I'm 47. I've been in the workforce for decades, and I've seen a lot of change, a lot of generational change. I'm a Gen Xer, so I got the baby boomers, I got the Gen X, I got the millennials, I got the Gen Z, and I see it all, and I see the evolution of women identified folks having a lot more self-worth. But as someone who was definitely not a part of that in the workplace in particular, I mean, I think a lot of us, we all were raised to have a lot of issues with regard to our self-esteem and how we show up in the world. I think in the workplace, it shows up differently, and I think it's continuing to evolve. And what I love about this program is that it doubles down on, I think, where a lot of folks are going. And so I think maybe for folks that are a little bit older, or maybe mid-career, who maybe aren't quite there, I think for me, it's what I'm hoping is that those neural pathways that have been created get recreated and shifted to a place that's just a lot healthier. And I keep thinking about the boundary setting, which I know is definitely a hot topic right now, but it is genuinely hard, and it's genuinely difficult to stop apologizing for everything. I do it all the time. Want to do it right now, and I'm not. I'm sorry I'm talking so much and I'm taking up so much space, right? I still do that. So changing those neural pathways and doing that in a way that recognizes that it's going to take time, and it's going to take, because how many decades or years of conditioning are you trying to change? So what I want is that for folks to have that knowledge and awareness to continue to do the work of changing those neural pathways, and have a community of other folks that they can be supported by, and they know they don't have to do it alone. That's what's exciting for me. That's what I hope that people get out of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is my hope for any person that I can come into contact with. So you folks here, I really hope you can join us. And if you can't, it's fine. I won't take it personally. So whether you walk away from all of the sessions and Breaking Barriers or just this one today, I want people to walk away feeling and knowing that you are deserving of any and all things that will make your life more of what you want and not less. That you are magical, you are amazing, and you are enough, period.
I wasn't going to share, but y'all just inspired me. So I'm going to insert myself, because I have some thoughts, and I say this very genuinely as someone who has worked in the higher education space, who has been on my own type of, right, at some point in our life, we're always on a healing journey. We're always trying to make ourselves better. But I think what has really struck me in the development of this program alongside Rachel Sadler and Rachel Murray is just the unique nature of a program like this happening here at She Geeks Out, because we're very lucky and privileged to have such amazing community of folks and women in all aspects of their career, from different functional areas, from different industries. And I really want to double down on what Rachel Murray said about the community that's going to be built, because I think the community here at She Geeks Out is so committed to not only their own education, learning, and development, but the education, learning, and development of those around them. And so that's just been my experience here so far, and through all of the programs that we've put together in the past 6 months since I've been on the team. So I just wanted to highlight that, because I think that really sets us apart from the rest. And I just wanted to highlight that as well. So
thank you, Ariana, for sharing.
No problem, I try. So those were all of the prepared questions. Does anyone have any thoughts, comments, other questions that might have come up throughout our time together today? Feel free to put yourself on mute or throw it in the chat. That's okay. If you don't, that just means we hopefully answered all of your questions. I did want to just share a couple resources in the chat with you all. So this first link that I sent you all is a link to our Galentine's Day event. This is a free event that we're going to be hosting on Monday, February 13th. It's going to be co-facilitated by Rachel Sadler and also Fatima, who I think is on the call, who's a part of our SGO team. Fatima will be leading us through a guided meditation. Rachel S. is going to be walking us or talking us through some journal prompts to just really focus on the self-love and the self-commitment during this Valentine's Day holiday, but spending some time loving on ourselves and around other people. And then I did also just want to share the link to get registered to the Breaking Barriers program. If you all are like, wonderful, I'm excited, this program is for me, we cannot wait to have you, that is where you can register. And then up on your screen is a QR code that links to our website. It links to our Mighty Networks platform, where you can just learn about all the other offerings that we are preparing for you all here at She Geeks Out. Rachel S. or Rachel Murray, are there any questions, comments, or things that you wanted to address before we depart?
I just want to say I'm so excited. Like, I kind of want to be a participant in this program. So
Yeah, if you see Rachel and I just slip in, just know that we're learning alongside you all.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely be a part of the community for sure. Really excited. And thank you all for coming and joining us for this session.
Awesome. So as I mentioned, this recording will be sent out to you all with all of the links that I've shared in the chat today. Thank you all so much for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at risetogether@shegeeksout.com, or I shared my email in the chat earlier, but we hope to see you in a few short weeks. Thanks, everyone.